So many of the problems that we find on industrial sites can be found at the grates over catch basins. Let's just take a moment and see some of the examples that I found recently at some of the industrial sites in our area. I want you to notice the first grate that we're going to look at. This grate where the asphalt comes up to the neck of this grate. As I was walking across the parking lot, I just happened to look down and notice this hole. I stopped, put my finger down in the hole, and realized that this is a deep hole where soil is actually being conveyed away from underneath this asphalt. That means there's a cavity here. This road is going to collapse. At this time, it's just a matter of putting some flowable fill in, going down and finding the spot where the soil is leaving where it's supposed to be, and it's a simple fix. We let it ride, and this asphalt around this catch box is going to collapse and be a problem. The next catch box has several issues going on. The most obvious is there's trash all around this thing. But if we zoom in a little bit more, we'll see that there has been a forklift that's been driving over this grate. Every time the forklift drives over this catch box, this grate, three things are happening. First of all, it's carrying sediment, trash from around the area and dropping it down into that box. The second thing is this area is supposed to be vegetated. It's supposed to be stabilized. The forklift has totally destroyed that. They have turned this into a mud hole, and as water comes off the asphalt going to this catch box, it's carrying with it sediment instead of being filtered by the grass that should be there. Third problem that happens is that forklift is driving on a vegetated area and coming up onto that catch box, which is creating a vibration, breaking loose the pipes that are tied into that box. This box, we need to get down in, re-secure that tie-in, and keep it from becoming a major expense for this industrial site. Next catch box, there's just no grass growing. And you'll also notice that the grate has not been replaced back into where it needs to rest, which means now any kind of traffic is going to cause extra vibration, and eventually this grate is at risk of being broken. I'm going to show you another example of where we find a hole in the asphalt near that catch box. This is where soil is being transferred away from where it's supposed to be to support this catch box. If the industrial site lets this ride, eventually this thing's going to collapse. On this site, they were doing some construction in the area, and the BMPs, or best management practices for keeping erosion and sediment at bay, have been moved. There was a heavy rain. The thinking for the industrial site was, we don't need this erosion eel here because it's going to slow down the flow of the water. Well, that's what it's designed to do, to slow down the flow and to catch particles and keep them from entering into our watershed. In this particular situation, when the construction was done, the industrial site had to bring back a vacuum truck to vacuum a couple tons worth of soil that was in this catch box. Often we have to take that grate off and get down inside the box to get a better idea of what actually is going on. But here's a better example of where I found a little hole right up against that catch basin. And once I took the grate off, I was able to go in and see where, when they installed this, they cut the top off of the pipes, slid those into that junction box. And when they did that, they didn't properly tie it in, or concrete between the pipe and the box. So we have a gap here, and if we follow that gap all the way straight up, that's where the hole is. And this is causing a cavity underground, which we were able to fix this one by patching up the inside and then throwing some soil back down in there, compacting it, and putting a piece of sod on top of that so that when people come back, it looks perfect. In this parking lot, this is no longer just a hole. The asphalt is settling down because that cavity has grown and there's been enough traffic over this asphalt that it's now started to collapse. We also have a second problem in which there is a filter. These filters are mandated, they're required. This property is not allowed to get rid of those filters. They're specific type of filter that filters out oils and greases before the water goes into our watershed. However, this filter needs to be cleaned out. So we have a couple things going on here. A filter that's clogged, which means water is not flowing through at the rate in which it's designed to flow. So now water is sitting on top of this asphalt, and it's found a way to go down in between the asphalt and the concrete box. It's moved some of the soil. The soil has created a cavity under the asphalt, and you can see on this box where the asphalt has started to collapse and break. There's several things that need to be done on this catch box to make it right. My name is Benji Buck with Buck Outdoor Stormwater Solutions. We want to be able to help educate facility managers, property managers, so that they know what to look for when they're out about on their properties.